morning. It's about 6 a.m. We're stuck in this weather pattern where we got low pressure on both sides of the Philippines, both sides of the Visayas, and it's just bringing in nasty weather. I like it. I could live like this every day, but can't use the boat in weather like this. Guinea fowl ready for their dinner, ready for their breakfast. So, good morning. I'm over here in the garden. So, I got up early this morning. I couldn't sleep last night. I was thinking about LYN, all night. I'm feeling bad for her. I'll tell you a little story about my wife. LYN has 3 sisters and 1 brother. She has 4 siblings. LYN is the oldest. She's the eldest of her siblings. And if you're Filipino, or if you know the Filipino culture, you know what that means. You know what being the oldest sibling means, especially out of 5 kids. LYN's parents, when LYN was young, they were working. Either Cebu or Manila. They weren't overseas, but they were working far away. And so basically, LYN was the parent. LYN was the one washing the clothes, making the dinners, the breakfasts, the lunches, feeding them, clothing them, getting them to school. LYN was the one doing all this work for a pretty long time. So, look at the okra and the broccoli. Look at my broccoli. Holy broccoli, Batman. I got some nice looking broccoli in there, guys. Not a lot. These are some of the ones that weren't growing. LYN transplanted them. I don't know if they'll take or if they'll die. But a gloomy, stormy day. I can hear the waves in the ocean from here. Hi everybody. It's Sunday here in the Philippines. Lazy day. I mean, what day isn't a lazy day here in the Philippines, right? Sometimes, I have to pinch myself. Am I really here? Am I really living here in the Philippines? Because sometimes I can't believe it. It's really, it's a very different pace. You always have to remember when you're here that, you're just a guest. And I don't care what kind of visa you have or how long you've been living here, you're still just a guest in this country. We all have our reasons for doing things. We all have our reasons for living where we live. I have mine, you have yours. And I have to say, you know, sometimes I'm just in awe of how beautiful things are here in the Philippines. And then there are days like the other day, we're driving home from Ubay. We went to fix the grass cutter yet again, and we're driving home and we saw this like Toyota Avanza, I think it was. It's kind of like a small minivan type SUV Toyota. Looked like it was brand new. And I saw skid marks that just went from the road to the right side of the road where we were driving to the left side. Then I saw the car was all mangled and on its hood. It had rolled and rolled and rolled. And the girl they were doing, you know, she was sitting straight up and she had a neck brace on and she had cuts all over her face. And she looked like she was going to be okay, but she was pretty banged up. And I was telling Lynn, that girl had her seatbelt on. Because look at the car. No way she would have survived that crash without a seatbelt on. And driving here in the Philippines is something to behold. You know, you gotta really take care. You have to have eyes in the front of your head, the back of your head, the side of your head. This particular accident, the woman fell asleep at the wheel, just in the middle of the day. God only knows how long she'd been driving. Maybe she was coming from Panglao or something like that, or the airport, who knows. But we saw, when we got home, we saw the accident on Facebook. And we were like, oh, we know that accident. We just drove by it. I mean, we had to have just missed the crash by about, I'd say, 20 minutes. Maybe 15, 20 minutes. Because no way the ambulance is getting over there in 5-10 minutes. Could have been even a half hour or even an hour we might have missed the accident by. Because there was an ambulance there were police there. And let me tell you something. You ain't getting any type of emergency service here quickly. Not that I've ever needed one, so maybe I'm misjudging, but just judging by the way things are here. Yeah, I mean, the nearest hospital is Ubay, and that was kind of far from where we were. And then just a few minutes later, we saw, we didn't see the accident, but there was a motorcycle accident. A guy was on the road. He was all mangled on the side of the road. The police were there trying to put the pieces of them back together. It was awful. Within 5 minutes of each other. If you're gonna drive here in the Philippines, whether it be a bike or a car, you really have to know what you're doing. You really have to know not only what you're doing, but what you're getting yourself into. Not only for a Filipino, but I'm speaking as a foreigner. It's very different here. I mean, what I learned, Lynn had an accident while I was in the U.S. and she, you know, the driver is the one who caused the accident, her driver. It was his fault. But Lynn had to pay because that's the law. The person who is the registered owner of the vehicle is the one responsible, regardless of who's driving. So he could have killed somebody, but Lynn would have been the one responsible. I don't know how that works, but that's what I read. I read it online. It's not just that I've heard it, but I've also read it in one of the laws that they have here. I guess the reason being for that is a lot of people hire drivers, and most of those drivers they're poor, and with all the accidents that they have, no one would get paid, right? And that's their thinking. So it's the registered owner who is the responsible party. So think about that, guys. If you're coming here and you buy a car, you register it in your name, and you hire a driver or you let someone borrow your car or whatever it may be, and they get into an accident, you're responsible. The registered owner is responsible. And if you hit somebody, you know, and you kill someone, even though it's not your fault, they were wrong, you're responsible. You got to pay. You got to come up with a settlement with the victims' families. And if they don't want to settle, you're going to jail. It's another thing. So sometimes I'm guilty of not wearing my seatbelt, and sometimes I'm guilty of driving too fast. And yesterday was a really good reminder for me to slow it down, put my seatbelt on, and just relax. Don't be in a hurry. Don't be in a rush. There's bicycles everywhere. There's kids everywhere. There's dogs everywhere. You know your instincts when you see a dog, you want to swerve out of the road. But you swerve. The road is only so big here, very small, and you swerve just enough, you're gonna hit a kid on the side of the road. You swerve just enough, you're gonna hit a car or a person on a bike. Most people, when there's a dog in the road, they just go straight through the dog. They, you know, you can think about what it looks like. Dogs in the road, very common. Very dangerous for a motorcycle, because you hit that, you're going off the bike. Helmets, you got to wear a helmet here. I'm also guilty of that, not wearing a helmet. Our bike right now is being fixed. The whole frame had rotted out. I mean, LYN, it's unbelievable how this happened. You know, the bike's only a couple years old. I hardly use it, you know, once in a while. And the people that are using it are the workers all the time. Mostly Manoy was here. He was the one using it a lot. And nobody taking care of it. No one changing the oil. No one washing it. No one checking to see if anybody washed it or, you know, changed the oil. But anyways, the frame had rotted. The bolts that hold the motor to the frame had completely rotted away. Only one bolt left holding the motor on. And she drove that bike all the way from Anda to Taliban to get something else fixed on the bike. And the guy said, "You're lucky that this motor didn't fall out on the road." So being that it may, that we're hoping that we'll be leaving soon, we didn't want to buy a new bike. So I said, we'll just go ahead and fix it. It's not that much money. It's a little bit of money, but not a whole heck of a lot. So we had to order a new frame. And the frame comes from, I don't know where, overseas, or Manila, or Japan. It's a Yamaha. And they had to cut out the serial number out of the frame. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to register it. So we had to cut the serial number out, and we had to give it to Yamaha. So the bike right now is in pieces, and it's sitting at Marianne's house. But I just want to make this quick video about driving in the Philippines. Be safe out there, guys. It's my little 2 cents. I just wanted to make this video really quick and short because it's not a exciting subject, but if you're driving here in the Philippines, you know, pay attention to what I'm saying, because very, very dangerous to drive here, especially at night. Most of the bikes don't have lights. They don't have rear view mirrors. They don't know if you're coming or going. And you could be driving too fast, and all of a sudden, boom, there's a bike in front of you because it has no lights. And if you hit it, you're responsible. So be careful out there. Stay safe. Just a quick video from Sunday afternoon in the Philippines. It's hot, but it's breezy. It's nice. So hope you guys are enjoying your summer back in the US. I miss my summers. I haven't been home for a summer, I think, in 3 years. Even though I was just home this time, and the last time I was home was also during the winter and spring. I haven't been home for a summer in a long time, and I really miss it. And I'm looking forward to getting back home, getting back to the US with LYN and the kids. Hopefully, God willing, there's no more documents requested, and she can move on to Manila for the interview. Let's hope. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video. Thanks.